Okay, I just wanted to make this video of this Colt M16 look-alike in 22 long rifle. There's not a lot of videos out there on it, and there's actually not a lot of information. And really, it's really hard to find parts for this thing. You can use some accessories for it that's out there, like for AR-15s, but other than that, it's pretty hard. This is an older model. I'll try to explain this as much as I can, like from what I know. Let's go by this. Okay, the original Handguard were these. So this was just like a regular AR-15 to install it. This would go on here, and of course the ring pushes back here. So, and then this was put on with some screws. As you can see, this is an aluminum one, Picatinny railing, which you can add some accessories to. And it has 3 screws on each side, so a total of 6 screws holding it. And it's actually nice, but I don't like how kind of hard it is to hold, as far as it's not comfortable on your hands because of the ridges and, you know, the Picatinny and all that, whatever. So it's on there for looks, basically. But I like the originals, and these are made out of plastic. So I'm just going to probably put these back on. All right. Well, let's get to the manufacturer here. Okay, it has the Colt M16 rifle, caliber 22 long rifle. It has the Colt stamped name. Colt Manufacturing Company, Hartford, Connecticut. Now, a lot of people would think, wow, this is made by Colt, but technically it's not. When you turn it over, you see the importer by Umarex, Smith, Arkansas. And then licensed trademarks of New Colt Holding Corporation, made by Karl Walther, Germany. So it looks like this particular model was made by Karl Walther of Germany. There's a lot of controversy out there who it really is made by. Is it made by Umarex, whatever the hell you pronounce that? Because, you know, they make a lot of air rifles and stuff. So, but what's stamped on here on the receiver, it says Walther. So I'm hoping to believe that's who made it. It's pretty heavy. I'm not going to weigh it right now, but it's pretty heavy. I have the serial number covered up. I don't know why, but people do that. But, you know, you have to do a 180-degree safety switch from safe to fire. It has the same AR-15 handguard or hand grip. The stock plastic. Like I said, this was added on. This is aluminum railing. Has the same front sight, which is adjustable. So you can adjust it with a little key type tool. And it has a flash hider, which just comes off. Just unscrews right off. And what's nice about this, which I don't like these big protruding bolts or screws, whatever you call them. These tightening nuts here. With your carrying handle. But, you know, for a look-alike, it's not bad. Now, as far as performance, capabilities, never had a problem. I just shot 250 rounds through it. Not one jam on it, but you have to really clean these up really good afterwards and oil it. Oil the bolt especially. Because if not, it will probably jam on you. And also use pretty decent ammunition. Don't use the super cheap 22s or 22 longs. Has a compartment back here on the butt plate. You put your cleaning supplies if you like. There's your bolt. Charging handle. So as you can see, it doesn't stay open without a magazine. So let's put the 20 round. This is 20 round. And you have the 30 round, which is really big. And then you have a nice little 10 rounder. And then you just, you know, hold those down and just load it. So let's put the 20 round magazine in here. Okay, doing this with one hand, sorry. And it's really tight. I mean, it's not super tight that you can't get them off, but there's no movement in this magazine, which is impressive. And all these magazines that I put in are like super secure, so which is really cool for this. Like I said, for the handle, I don't like these protruding here. I never did. So if this was all one, you know, made at the upper with the carrying handle, it would be really neat. Like, I think it would look really nice. But unless you could get, so you just take these off. Like, unless you could get something that's a little smaller or kind of uniform to make this look better. It has the adjustable rear sight elevation. You know, you could go through the larger peephole, or you just flip it to the small peephole. Okay, and then you have the windage right here on the side, which works. So let's go back to the charging handle. And since I have the magazine in now, I pull the charging handle and the bolt stays open, see? So only when that magazine's in, empty, the charging bolt will stay open. So if I take the magazine out, I don't know if I can do it with one hand here. Let me try it. Sorry, guys. There. All right, took the magazine out. Sorry. Now let's charge the bolt again, and then she'll shut. See? All right. Let's put this back in. Well, here, since you saw the 20 round, let's do the 30 round. And I want to show you how huge this is. Okay. It's like really big. See that? So it's not your standard 30 round 223 magazine, because, you know, that usually comes up to around here or so. This one's at least another 2 inches or so longer, especially, you know, with just 30-22 long rifles in it. So it's kind of goofy looking. All right, so kind of like negative features, I guess, if you want to call it. The positive feature is it's pretty well built. You know, it's not like a toy rifle that people say out there. Some of the blogs that I read, they kind of down this. Only a few people, not many. They're like, oh, it's a toy, it's too expensive for that, and this and that. But you know what? For the money you pay for this, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So, the bolt release, like I said, there's no bolt release. This is just for show. So when you go to here, you know how a regular AR, you know, if you charge the handle and you push the bolt release pin down or the lever, this doesn't do anything. That's just for show. That's all that is. Just sitting there and make it look cool. Like I said, it's 180 degree from fire to safe. Trigger pull was probably about 6.5 pounds, I believe, which is not too bad for a little 22 plinker. Again, you could put down anything, any type of firearm out there with all these little imperfections, but this is not bad. It really isn't. Another little cosmetic is this forward assist. This doesn't work at all. This is just for show. Cool, but at least it has a nice 22 shell ejector on here so it doesn't go in your face, you know. The dust cover does not stay shut. Now it does. That's from the factory. That's not a defect. You know, it has nothing to do with, oh, why isn't my dust cover staying shut? No, that's not a defect. They made it this way. They made this to stay open. But what's really interesting, they put the pin in here to hold it with a spring. So this little pin moves. See how that moves? And then, but the hole's too big. So when you're closing this dust shield, it's not taking this pin and connecting it up in here. So just falling out of that hole. So what you could do is you could take a little 2-part epoxy, you know, the liquid steel or whatever, plumber's putty, and just dab that little bit right up in there and fill it halfway. And then you'll have enough to where this will work and close. And you'll still be able to push that down just enough to where it opens. So if that bothers you that much. But other than that, hey, it's a cool firearm. It's got the weight to it. You know, it looks like an M16 sort of. You know, if you want to go around plinking in the fields. I don't like this 30 round. I just to me that is probably the most negative thing. This and these protruding nuts to hold on the carrying handle. Those are the two that I just despise on this rifle. But to fix this problem, you just add the 20 round. There you go. So if you add the 20 round to it, it actually looks much nicer. Now I'm in my 50s, and I remember my first look-alike M16 rifle was a Squire's Bingham 22, made by Arms Corps. And that was my very first look-alike M16, and I think that was around 1980, I believe, that I got that. And I brought up a picture on my laptop, and I'll show you what it looks like. So if you look at the Squire's Bingham, this was, believe it or not, this was like super cheap when I think my father purchased this for me. And the stock itself is either made out of fiberglass or plastic, and it was made in the Philippines. But as you can see, it was just sort of a look-alike as the early M16 version. And the one big difference of the newer look-alike M16s is that they don't have that spring in the center of the clip here, you know, where you pull down the lever. It's like a solid magazine, which is better than something like this. See where you have that. That's the only drawback too on these magazines, is that you have this for a 22 instead of making them solid, so that you don't see that. That would look pretty cool. But on this one, it is solid. Now I shot this one, oh my gosh, I must have wore everything down on that rifle when I had it, but it still shoot. It would still shoot after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rounds through it. I know that I did. I chipped up the stock. The paint was coming off like this one. It was just a really inexpensive look-alike from the Philippines. But it worked, and it was simple. So you have a simple line of an M16 look-alike with a blowback bolt, and she worked. And it did its job. It did its job. So we've come a long way, and now they have these, which are made by Walther, supposedly. But this one is discontinued, I believe. So I don't believe you're going to get this one anymore. You might find some used ones out there. But now they have the M4. They have the M4 Op, which is a shorter version of this, and the barrel is shorter. So you could go online and check them out. And I heard they're pretty decent, but these are better. These are better. So from what I read online, the majority of the people that shot these and the M4s, these are much better. These were probably around $650 when they first came out, maybe closer to $700, which is a lot of money for those. They came out in 2009, and I know this is an early version, and I'm not sure how long they lasted until they went out or until they discontinued these. Maybe 2015, but there was some complaints. But like I said, the complaints were minimal at the time, and that was probably the majority of the issues were using cheap ammo. And some issues were the ejector would break on the bolt there area, and then maybe the firing pin. Not too many of the firing pins though, and that could be from abuse. That could be from a factory defect. But not many. So, this one is very, very dirty. I have to clean it. So if you really clean this, what I'll do is I'll take it all apart and clean it, and then really oil it up. This thing won't give you any problems. And then you have to take it apart here or unscrew. There's a little adapter when you take this off. You can unscrew it and take this whole thing off. And then it takes down just like a regular AR. You take these two pins out, of course. So you could take like a bullet or I'm pushing them in right now, that pin and that pin. So if you take the one pin out, let me see. So actually I'm going to have to get this pencil. And you just push that in. Okay. Push that in. Pull this pin right out. And see how this thing will just drop down like that. And then there's your inside of your M16 lookalike. So there's my cat over there. I'm trying to do this with one hand. It's a little shaky, So it's nothing like an AR-15 inside at all. But you can see how dirty it is, and I need to clean it. And then once I clean all that up, it'll look like brand new. So like that. Same thing, just pop that closed. Well, I have to hold it down, so I'll put that pin in there. And then you just put the pin right back in there and you're fine. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. There we go. Good. All right. So there you go. It shoots fine, like I said. I don't know what else to say about it. Try to get back here, and I know this is going to be a shaky video. But we all have our complaints on certain things. And the only two complaints I have is this long-ass magazine, or actually showing this, which technically doesn't bother me, but it'd be cool without it. And then these two tightening nuts, for the carrying handle. That's the only thing. This is more cosmetic for me. The aluminum railing. Like I said, I'm going to put the original back on. That would be the original. So there you go. They're about, I guess, used. You could pick them up anywhere from $200 to $400 today. If you could find them. They're really hard to find. So if you could pick one up, say around for $300, $350, somewhere around there, you got a pretty decent rifle for a 22 lookalike, or for an M16 lookalike. And of course these extra magazines Like you might only get one magazine for that deal. These run about $29, $39. You can still get the magazines online. But you just I don't think you get any of the parts for it. All right, there you go. Any other questions, just let me know.